government, basically to serve the people, added that years of experience in private business and public service has equipped him with what it takes to deliver the good of the majority as currently unfolding across the state.
Ìdíje yìí dédé láàrin ẹgbẹ́sẹ̀gbẹ́ ni ẹgbẹ́ wa àti àwọn ẹgbẹ́ yòókù. Ẹgbẹ́ APC nìkan làwọn tí ó jẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ mẹ̀kúnnù tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan tí aráàlú fẹ́. Ìjì tí wàá kó ti sọ àwọn ọmọ láti ṣe púpọ̀ díẹ̀ àti dúpẹ́ lọ́lọ́run láti lẹ́yìn mi. Àwọn ọ̀pẹ tí Ọlọ́run bá yọ̀ ọ̀dà sáà kejì.
Speaking on the capacity of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola in the heart of good governance, the state chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Prince Boyega Famodun, the Director General of Oyetola's Campaign Council, Senator Ajibola Bashir, former members of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ajibola Famuremba, as well as Honorable Babatunde Komalafe, representing Atakumasa East and Atakumasa West constituency in the State House of Assembly, submitted that the state of Osun has never had it so good in terms of regular and prompt payment of workers' salary and emoluments, infrastructural developments, educational transformations, qualitative health care delivery, among other welfare packages for the citizenry across the state.
What is happening today is quite different with what happened 4 years ago. Today, I can assure you, we are going to win in all the 6 local governments in the Isha land. You can see the way people, not party members this time around, the artisans, people of these different communities, took out to welcome Mr. Governor.
Talk to the people of my constituency in Atakumasa East and West, where we are doing campaign today, that they should go out and vote for Governor Boyega Oyetola for the second time in the office to continue the good work that they have been doing.
Dignitaries on the campaign train with Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, including the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kavayat Oyetola, the deputy governor, Mr. Benedict Alabi, Mrs. Oyefunke Alabi, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Oweye, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Dr. Charles Akinola, stewards and members of the All Progressive Congress from across the state. From the Governor's Office, Sanya Onoinde reporting.
While Governor Adegboyega Oyetola has assured of his commitment towards peaceful conduct of the forthcoming gubernatorial election in the state, Governor Oyetola gave the assurance at the All Progressive Congress Party Secretariat, Osogbo, while receiving the representatives of National Democratic Institute. Governor's Office correspondent Sanya Onoinde once again completes the story.
While receiving the representatives of the National Democratic Institute at the All Progressive Congress Party Secretariat, Osogbo, the state capital, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola reiterated his commitment towards peaceful conduct of the forthcoming gubernatorial election. Governor Oyetola, who appreciated the team for their concern in good governance and entrenchment of democratic system, explained that the All Progressive Congress has always led by example in all its activities, adding that election into public offices should not be a do-or-die affair.
We've been practicing what you enumerated there ever since we've been. We did the primary election in February. It went well without any incident of any violence. We conducted several other primary elections. Congress has been peaceful all through. So we believe it is important for us to ensure that we have a free, fair, and credible election at any point in time.
The team, led by Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Two-Face, and Veronica Onoja, said that the National Democratic Institute is particularly committed towards Vote Not Fight campaign and stop violence against women in politics across the country. The team said that it is currently going around to engage all political parties in the governorship election on the need to play the game according to the rule, as well as ensuring violence-free election, encouraging women participation in politics, and creating stiffer penalties for perpetrators of electoral violence.
Say thank you to every cabinet member of your government. I want to say thank you to all the party leaders and everybody that has contributed to making your stewardship of Osun State a successful one so far, and we pray and we wish you all the best.
We are working towards deterring violence against women in election, and this we believe can be done by the implementation of the VAP law. By the time we punish one or two persons, I believe people who have tendencies of committing violence against women are going to be scared, and they will definitely stop committing violence against women, either in private or public life.
From the governor's office, Sanya Onoide reporting.
Similarly, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will lead the 86-member campaign council announced by the All Progressives Congress for the July 16 National State Governorship poll. Listed as members by the party are Governors Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State and Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State, who will serve as co-chairman and deputy chairman. Information has it that Malam Aliyu Ahmed will serve as secretary to the council. Also to serve on the council are governors in the APC-controlled state, as they will serve as vice chairman. Senate President Dr. Ahmad Lawan, House of Representatives Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, former presidential aspirants Godswill Akpabio, Rotimi Amechi, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, and Chukwemeka Ngwajuba. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Minister of Industry Otunbani Adebayo, Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami San, Minister of Education Adamu Adamu, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy Isa Pantami, among others. Do you know that there are millions of people in Nigeria who do not vote because of the exigency of their profession? Who are this set of people, you may want to ask? Find out in this special report of the week put together by Oluwatoyin Yusuf and presented from our studios.
Nigeria's population stands around 200 million. Each time there is a general election, analysts say the election do not always record credibility because few million voters participate. The question is, what happens to the rest of Nigerians who do not vote? First, millions of Nigerians who are below the statutory 18 years of maturity are not allowed to obtain permanent voter's card and so cannot vote. Second, many parents push their eligible wives and children to obtain PVCs, not for election but for other exigencies such as admission, mobilization for NYSC, enlistment in the military or paramilitary bodies, and the rest. These Nigerians do not vote. Third, hundreds of thousands of car members who have kids have been deployed away from their states of origin and at the same time may have been mobilized as INEC ad hoc staff to take part in the elections. They do not vote. Thousands of eligible voters register with INEC under non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations as election observers. These observers in their own states have voters' cards but will not vote on election days. Fifth, officers and men of Army, Navy, Air Force, police, and paramilitary organizations are often deployed for elections to maintain peace and order. These officers and men do not always vote. Six are staff of INEC who see themselves as neutral in the game. They are Nigerians, but the nature of their job disenfranchises them. There are journalists who monitor elections and are posted away from where they have registers to exercise these all-important civil rights. Hundreds of broadcast journalists and engineers will be on duty on election days, systematically disenfranchised. Patients in public and private hospitals do not vote, and so are health workers, often called to emergencies. One can imagine the population of this category of Nigerians across health facilities in the country. One can also add suspects in police cells and correctional centers. These suspects in captivity lack the freedom to vote. A cross-section of Nigerians, because of their own understanding of the faith they profess, see democracy as ungodly and do not take part in elections. Very early on election day, some farmers, bricklayers, carpenters and other artisans leave for farms and other places of work, only to return in the evening at the conclusion of voting. These Nigerians do not believe election can change their plight. With all this, one can now calculate conservatively millions of Nigerians who do not always vote. Police Public Relations Officer, Osun State Command, Yemisi Okpalola, said police officers and men are Nigerians and love to exercise their civic responsibilities if their job allows it during election.
During the election, we will be the ones that will be at different polling units to protect the lives and the electoral properties that is there. So that is why we cannot leave our beats. We might have registered in a place, and before the election time comes, we might have been transferred out of that place. And that is the reason why we cannot, most of the time, doesn't vote. But if you are not on duty, you can vote. But virtually everyone will be deployed to one place or the other.
Mrs. Abimbola Babatunde is the Director of News and Current Affairs, OSBC Radio. She bears a mind on the matter.
Most of the time, we are always on ground on election days. Maybe governorship election, House of Assembly, National Assembly, or presidential election. We are expected to be in the office. As early as 6 a.m. on election days, we'll be in the office to send reporters out, to be on here to tell people at home what is happening in the field, what is happening where people are voting. So most times, we are always on duty, we are always on the job. We don't have time to go to our various wards where we registered to participate in the voting exercise.
Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdul Ganiyu Raji explains that the electoral law does not allow for such. However, assured that the Commission is working towards legalizing the entire process so that no one will be disenfranchised.
We are making efforts, but not until when we are empowered constitutionally. During the last review of the Electoral Act, it has not been injected into the Constitution. In some other countries, actually I was in Ghana during the presidential election as one of the monitors from Nigeria. I actually led the team, and they told us that they had conducted election for this category of people a week earlier, and they showed us the ballot boxes that were sealed. Their votes had not been counted, just for transparency, so that at the end of the election, they will now open those ballot boxes and count. With that, nobody would know who they voted for. Ordinarily, votes conducted a week earlier, people can now say, oh, okay, the security agent voted for this party, they voted for. So they match the results together. So, but constitutionally, in this country, we are not yet there.
Analysts have called out to the National Orientation Agency and the Ministry of Information and Civic Orientation to do more on the need for Nigerians to take active part in electoral processes in order to give elections credibility.
The National Assembly has rejected a bill which will compel any elected political office holder to vacate his seat for defecting to another political party. The bill to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to provide for the termination of tenure of certain elected officials on account of political party and for related matters failed to pass after both chambers voted against it while amending the Constitution. Reports say the bill rightly seeks to amend Section 144 subsection 1 and 189 subsection 1 of the Constitution to check incidents of defections, that is cross-carpeting or abandoning the political party that sponsored the president, vice president, governor or deputy governor, as the case may be, for another political party in the absence of a merger of political parties, division or factions within the sponsoring political party. Currently, the 1999 Constitution only frowns on defection of lawmakers at the State House of Assembly and the National Assembly. Following the rifts between the Chief Justice of Nigeria Ibrahim Muhammad and 14 Supreme Court justices over welfare and administrative issues. The body of benchers has set up a 7-man committee to look into the matter. The chairman body of benchers, Wole Olaonipekun, a senior advocate of Nigeria, told newsmen that the committee is headed by a former CJN, Mahmoud Muhammad. Reports say the immediate objective of the committee is to resolve the impasse, while the ultimate objective is to work out an acceptable package for judicial officials all over the country, particularly judicial officials in superior courts. Olaonipekun also disclosed that the committee would work to improve the welfare package for judicial officers in the country. He added that the committee has also been mandated to compare and contrast what the judicial officers take as their remuneration, among others, with what is obtainable in other parts of the world. Recall that about 14 aggrieved Supreme Court justices had in a leaked letter accused the CJN of abandoning its responsibilities and diverting funds meant for the running of the Apex Courts. Reacting to the allegations, the CJN stated that the Apex Courts, like other establishments in the country, is affected by a devastating economic crunch. As a result of the economic crunch, Muhammad explained that the leadership of the Supreme Court could no longer meet some of the obligations to the justices, especially in the area of welfare. Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Haji Zukrullah Hassan, has commiserated with Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal over the attack on some intended pilgrims from the state by bandits. A statement by the Assistant Director, Public Affairs of NACAN Abuja, Hajia Fatima Usara, indicates that the Commission's chairman decried the unfortunate incident, which claimed the lives of 3 security escorts. It would be recalled that bandits attacked pilgrims from East Alki government traveling to Sokoto for takeoff to Saudi Arabia for the 2022 Hajj. Reports say all the intending pilgrims in the convoy escaped safely from the attempted kidnap. Meanwhile, the NACON chairman has assured that collaboration between it and state governments will be intensified to safeguard pilgrims whenever they are in the country. He charged all states to reinforce security around pilgrims' camps and their movements. You are welcome to our sports segment. Nigeria again underscored its stature in youth football on the African continent as 5-time world champions Golden Eaglets reached the finals of the 2023 African Under-17 Cup of Nations in style. 2 goals by dead ball sparked Emmanuel Michael and a glancing header by Abubakar Idris Abdullahi condemned the Under-17 boys of Cote d'Ivoire to a 3-1 defeat in the first semi-final of the ongoing Wafubi Under-17 Championship in Cape Coast, Ghana. The Eaglets uncharacteristically conceded first when Jean Diomande scored from the penalty spot in the very first minutes after a foul in the Nigerian box. The Nigerian boys launched onslaught after onslaught and were rewarded on the half-hour mark when Emmanuel Michael, who scored a spectacular goal from a 22-yard free kick in the opening match against hosts Ghana, found the range of another free kick from the right wing. In Friday's final, the Eaglets will take on Burkina Faso, the winner of the second semi-final match. However, victory over the Ivorians mean they will be one of the 8 participating teams at next year's African Under-17 Cup of Nations in Algeria. On the foreign scene, hundreds of thousands of people in China have been evacuated in several southern and eastern provinces after unrelenting rains caused floods and triggered landslides. 2 provinces upgraded flood warnings as rivers overflowed and floodwater levels broke a 50-year high. Videos show cars being washed down streets and people being rescued by ropes across swollen rivers. Weather officials say the area is seeing its highest rainfall since 1961. Residents of communities living along river banks and in low-lying neighborhoods have been urged to move to higher ground. The city of Jiaguan in Guangdong province has been one of the worst affected, prompting officials to raise its flood alert to the highest level as the city charted record rainfall since late May. A similar alert was put in place for Guangdong's Guiyang City. Meanwhile, in Jiangxi province in the southeast China, authorities raised a flood warning after 485,000 people in 9 districts were affected. China's National Meteorological Center said the average rainfall in Guangdong, Fujian, and Jiangxi provinces between early May and the middle of June reached 621 millimeters, the highest since 1961. That ends the major report on OSBC television. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. Good night.